Most Sri Lankans say they are finding it increasingly difficult to manage their monthly grocery expenses. And judging by the results of the latest poll by TNS Lanka, many are convinced that they are spending substantially more on their food bill than they did last year. So, what must the government do to ensure that prices of essential items remain stable? Here's Anushan Selvaraja with more.
Welcome to this week's edition of The Voice of Business. I'm Anushan Selvaraja and I have with me the country manager for TNS Lanka, Kunal Sharma. Now Kunal, are you surprised that 95% of your sample for LMD's monthly survey say that they are now spending substantially more than they were a year ago on essential food items?
No, not really, Anushan. It's not really a big surprise. I mean, we know that in terms of the media as well, food inflation has been among the top 2 or 3 discussed topics, and I think it's really weighing heavily on the national conscience right now. As a matter of fact, the debates on food prices have gone out of the kitchen and started reaching corporate boardrooms as well. I can testify personally to the fact that in the past few weeks and months, even quite a few clients that we deal with, various corporate organizations, this topic is a raging topic of debate. And clients in the FMCG sector have actually reported to lower offtake from retail shelves as a consequence of the inflation. So I think there is a widespread impact that everybody is under.
It is evident from the poll outcome that salaries aren't keeping pace with inflation. What can and must the business community do about this? Time to raise pay levels substantially, you think?
Not a simplistic answer, Anushan. We have talked about this issue, you and I as well, in the past, but that can only be a short-term measure. While I do agree to the fact that given the kind of inflation levels we have been seeing and given the consistent feedback from consumers as salaried class that the salaries are not keeping in line with the overall inflation and that their ability to purchase their commodities has been impacted negatively, corporates do have certain responsibility. But it can only be in a short-term measure. So for example, if in the year 2011 corporates take a step and decide to increase salary levels to kind of mitigate the effect of inflation, can they continue to do that year on year? It really cannot happen that way. So somewhere the government has to step in as well.
Now, TNS Lanka's finding also notes that 97% of those who participated in the survey feel that authorities must take action to stabilize prices of essential food items. How serious is this finding and what especially must the government take note of here?
As a finding, it is serious. 97% means just about everybody is talking about that. And I think the public is right to a fairly large extent when they believe that it's the government's primary responsibility to control high levels of inflation, especially when it comes to essential commodities. Okay. Having said this, that does not absolve other related parties, but I think the primary policy making ability of the government to control inflation and to control the prices of especially of commodities and food products is extremely important.
Now, Kunal, close to 8 in 10 say the government should consider importing staple foods when they are in short supply. But the state has been somewhat reluctant to do this, especially when we reach a stage of desperation. Do you agree or disagree with this?
Well, state of desperation is a rather subjective measure, Anushan, I will say. It's hard to define when exactly we have hit that state of desperation. If you see 95% and 97% of people talking about the fact that, commodities cost substantially more than they were a year ago, 97% saying that the government really needs to do something about it, then I think we have possibly reached that state of desperation. Now, in the intermediate period, I think it might be required for the government to actually step in and import essential food commodities. However, this cannot be a long-term solution, as I'm pretty sure that the government is well aware of. Over a longer period of time, it is close policy making that is required, steps required to boost our agricultural productivity, steps required to provide better fertilizers, better technology to our farmers, solve their issues, and really make Sri Lanka more and more self-sustained in terms of food commodity production. That's the only way out, because we cannot keep on importing and bear a high foreign exchange price for that.
That was Kunal Sharma speaking to Benchmark's Anushan Selvaraja. Thank you for watching our show. We'll see you again next week at the same time.